All right, so we've all been hearing about AI coming for the creative world, right? But what does that actually look like when the rubber meets the road? Well, a major music label just dropped a pretty groundbreaking blueprint for how they plan to work with it, and honestly, it could change everything. Let's get into it.
Yeah, this is the question, isn't it? Will a robot write the next big hit? I mean, for artists, this whole thing is a mix of insane excitement and, let's be real, a lot of anxiety. It's a massive debate, and while most people are kind of waiting around to see what happens, one company just stepped up and gave a very, very bold answer.
You've got this conversation happening everywhere. On one hand, people are pumped about AI being this new creative partner. But on the other hand, there's this very real fear that it's going to devalue human artistry. It's just a space filled with a ton of uncertainty right now.
And look, this isn't some niche tech thing anymore. This is a full-on mainstream debate. But instead of shying away from all that controversy, one company is doing the exact opposite. They're leaning in, hard, and basically drawing a line in the sand for everyone to see.
So who is this company? It's Music Label Group, or MLG for short. And it looks like they've decided to stop talking about what-ifs and actually start building a real model for what this human-AI creative future could look like.
And here it is, the big reveal. On October 7th, 2025, MLG officially announced they were launching a brand new experimental division called the AI Label Group, or AILG. And you've got to understand, this isn't some little side project. No, this is a dedicated department, and their whole job is to go out there and explore the very frontiers of AI in music.
Okay, so what's the big idea behind all this? What's their philosophy? Well, MLG's CEO, Appio Boyd, put it really simply. He said, AI is a tool, not a replacement for the human soul. So for him, AI is this incredibly powerful creative tool, sure, but it's not a replacement for the human experience, for the soul that's really at the heart of all great music. The whole vision here is about empowerment, not just automation. So that's a nice philosophy, right? But how do you actually turn that into practice? How do you make sure that human soul really stays in the music? Well, MLG's answer is a surprisingly simple but pretty powerful new rule. And it all comes down to this number, 80%. Seriously, this is the core of their entire framework, and it's their direct answer to all those fears in the industry about AI just taking over completely. So, what does it actually mean?
They're calling it the 80% Human Framework. It's a formal mandate for this new division, and it's pretty straightforward. It just means that while AI can help out, assist and speed things up, at least 80% of any given project has to be created by a human. The point is, human creativity has to be the driving force. No exceptions. Okay, so what does that actually look like in a studio? Let's make it concrete. Imagine an AI spits out, say, 10 different drum patterns. A human producer then steps in. They're the curator. They might pick one, tweak it, maybe even recreate it from scratch using it as inspiration. But the final decision, the taste, how it gets integrated into the song, that's all human. It's kind of like a new form of sampling when you think about it.
All right, so they have this 80% rule locked in. What's the AI Label Group actually going to do with it?
Well, their game plan is split into two really distinct but connected areas.
So they've got this two-pronged attack, basically. First, they're going to experiment with creating virtual artists, but, and this is the important part, there's going to be a dedicated human team of songwriters and producers behind them. Then, second, the AILG is going to act like an innovation hub. They'll give the label's existing human artists access to all these powerful AI tools to help them spark new ideas for melodies, harmonies, you name it.
Okay, so let's get to the bottom line here. Why does this move matter so much? Why is the entire industry paying such close attention to this announcement?
Well, industry analysts are calling it a shrewd move, and here's why. By creating a whole new division, MLG gets to play with AI in a controlled sandbox, basically. They can set their own ethical and creative rules instead of waiting for someone else to do it. Plus, they get to capitalize on what feels like the inevitable growth of AI in music, but they're doing it while directly tackling those big concerns artists and fans have about authenticity and ownership. It's this really smart balance of jumping on innovation while also managing the risk.
In this quote from MLG's official statement, it just perfectly sums up how they're looking at all of this. They said, AI music is not a fad, it's an evolution. So for them, AI isn't some gimmick. It's a fundamental shift in the creative process. The music itself isn't changing, but the toolbox you use to make it, that's about to get a whole lot bigger and way more interesting.
And that brings us right back to the million-dollar question. Music Label Group has laid out its plan.
right? A future where human artists are still firmly in the driver's seat, just supercharged by AI. So what do you think? Is this kind of human-AI partnership the right way forward for the future of music? I mean, that's a question the entire industry is going to be watching and listening very, very closely to see answered.